This is probably going in the episode. Okay.
That's the introduction.
Yeah. How's my hair?
Then why are you here?
Because you called me.
This podcast is made possible by the generosity of listeners and viewers like you. Kindly consider a contribution through Patreon or PayPal. Links are in the details box. Any amount is appreciated. And follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The handle, the Beirut Banyan. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. And to stay updated with video releases, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. I'm Rani Shatar, and this is the Beirut Banyan. Let's understand each other shway.
Okay.
All right. I know. Okay, no. I did 2 recordings today.
Yeah.
That's why my voice is weak.
Yeah.
I just finished an episode. I forgot to record the right way.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit pissed off. But that's not even the day. The day is me getting a little too carried away on Twitter and posting things maybe I shouldn't post. I don't know. I think I should. People that I referred to called me.
Yeah.
One of them is somebody we both know.
Yep.
We're going to get into this. And I think because you like to ask me questions all the time, I decided to take advantage of not answering you over WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But making you record an episode with me. Because you want to do... That's not that you want. You're curious.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm podcast curious.
You're podcast curious.
Just so that it comes off in the right way to everybody at home. This is definitely PG. Well.
I don't know.
Are you regretting this already?
No, I want to do this. I wanted to do this the moment we spoke on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Since you're podcast curious.
Yeah.
You're social media savvy.
Yeah.
You've told me things I do wrong on Instagram.
And I was proven wrong about those.
Yes, it's true. Yes. But you also called me out today. You should... I'll quote you to you.
Yeah.
Ronnie, be easy on him.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into this first. He's a friend of ours. I think mostly in the circle we both live in. Michel Duehi. I kind of poked fun at his decision to tear the white slip.
You and every other social media platform out there.
Everyone. Maybe I was a bit... Maybe I did 2 tweets instead of 1. And I actually said something like, if Bernie and Biden could get along, so could Michel and Michel.
I laughed. I laughed. But, I mean, those were very... Like, among every reaction I've seen, this is some of the very well thought and original... It's as if those memes were created to be used in this situation. Yes. So I understand why you thought I'm going to post all of them because content-wise, they're all worthy.
Even I can tear my last piece of toilet paper.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
When you're running out of toilet paper, Wardini, you need to be extra careful with what remains.
Yeah.
خصوصا إذا ما في نبريش.
Yeah.
You have to be very delicate, right? And I at toilet. If I need to cut a last piece, I do it delicately, and I let it be known. Hey, آخر قطعة لإلي.
Okay.
I don't think this applies to Baabda.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad we went back to Baabda at the end.
So why was I wrong at making it a bit too personal?
I don't know if I would say you were wrong. I would definitely say that I don't even want to say that the reaction was disproportionate because even I, who somebody tends to be overly protective at times of the change MPs and what they represent. And by the way, I'm not friends with Michel Duehi. We've met once. I don't think he would recognize me if he saw me. But I have a sense of protection because I believe that this is the only line of politics which speaks to people like me, and I understand that this is still very new. I mean, this is 6 months old. In the time of politics, this is a blink of an eye. I do believe it was a very ironic way for him to express his discontent. And I really don't like how he said that the politicians, are not allowing us to live. The moment he is in parliament, he is no longer one of us. He is one of the politicians. And this self-victimization does not look good on him. But at the same time, I think people who supported the change MPs have the right to criticize them. But I look at people who never supported the change MPs, who went out and voted to the traditional parties, and I find it really ironic, and I find it really, I don't know the right word, but if you're that good at holding other MPs accountable, how come you can't hold your own? يعني في نوع من الاستقواء إنه those are weak and we get to drag them. بس لو anybody else from their own party or anybody else who was seen with with more respect, commanded more respect, I don't know if we would have the same reaction.
I don't like Michel Moawad.
Yeah. Okay, but so we're jumping right into it.
We're gonna go back to your long apology tour for how you feel, and we're gonna get into that. I don't like Michel Moawad.
Okay.
I think he should be president.
Okay.
I don't like him.
I see where you're going. Yeah.
Hold on. I don't like somebody who voted for مع التيار الوطني الحر.
Yeah.
I don't like somebody who struggles to look presidential. I don't like the fact that we have to stick to family names. I'm open-minded. Actually, I think both of us have names in our minds of people we both know that should be in Baabda. But we both probably assume that none of them have the chance to enter Baabda.
Yeah.
I don't like Michel Moawad. Yet, I would vote for him.
Yeah.
Because the alternative message is, I prefer what Gibran Bassil wants.
Yeah.
Which is somebody that will guarantee his journey to Baabda. I'm upset at Michel Doueihi because he may not realize this, since he's principled to the point that he's said it many times, he will not vote for Michel Moawad. Fine.
Yeah.
I think it's a mistake, it's a blunder.
Yeah.
Because he's showing a rigidity that prefers somebody less qualified than Michel Moawad. On terms with Hezbollah more than Michel Moawad. And that to me doesn't suit politics well. It suits, in my mind, an acceptance of the status quo.
Yeah.
And the reason I want Michel Moawad, even though I don't like him, is because we both know Joseph Aoun is going to be the next president.
Yeah.
The signal should be تغيير ومعارضة can get along.
Yeah.
Most votes are going to Michel Moawad. تغيير should be more open-minded to work in alliance, not less. Why am I wrong? Michel Doueihi called me. He called me. He wanted to understand. Which Michel am I referring to?
Yeah.
I told him Michel Moawad. He's like, no, the other Michel. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it could be Michel Helou.
Yeah.
Even though haram. Michel Helou, I don't think, spoke his mind today about it. But I've heard him, and people in his party who are not in parliament, they're not open to Michel Moawad. At least they haven't said so. But it's really about Michel Doueihi's stance.
Yeah.
I think he's wrong, and I think he deserved the backlash today.
Yeah. I mean, he asked for it, and this is not the first time. Last week he had a very similar comment, and I'm surprised that this took a week to get picked up. And he does deserve the backlash. I think despite him and the other team, the blank votes team, having very different intentions, both a blank vote and a torn blank vote are part of the problem, not part of the solution. And they are both expressions of Well, rejection to what Michel Moawad represents, but for two different reasons, perhaps.
Yeah.
Maybe I would go back قبل الانتخابات. There's a reason why in North 3 the Thawra and the Mu'arada were not wise enough to know that with the right calculation they could have made sure that Gibran Bassil does not even make it into parliament. They had the opportunity to strike down Gibran Bassil when he was the most vulnerable, and they still chose to pick a losing fight in Batroun.
So, you tell me then, why is Shamaluna better than what Majd Harib, Jawad Boulos and
Michel
Moawad and there was someone else, I forgot.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, the other names.
Adim Abdul Masih, the one who won.
Yes. Why was Shamaluna better in what they did than
I wouldn't use the word better or worse to describe anyone. They both catered to different audiences, and I think there was a need for a Shamaluna, and there was a need for Shamal al-Muwajaha, because I don't think either of these groups would be able to fully represent the other party. Had it not been for Shamal al-Muwajaha, perhaps a lot of these voters would have voted for Uwait. Had it not been Shamaluna, a lot of these voters would have voted for Memphis. So both of these lists, they had their audiences. They should have worked closer together in one certain district, which is Batroun, and they could have done a deal, perhaps, where they would agree where Shamaluna could support Majd and Batroun, and Shamal al-Muwajaha could support Shamaluna in a district where they had the most chances.
This is a big question. It's not meant for either one of us, but I'll ask it. Is it simply because of Zgharta that this is happening? He just can't vote for...
it's very hard to overlook this factor. And is it just because of Zgharta? I don't know. I'm not inside his head, but I mean it definitely plays a big role. I think so. It's justified.
I can't think of another reason, actually.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to find a reason why Mark Doe decided to do it, Najat, Sariba,
Yeah.
even Rami Finch before he was thrown out. And
the thing for Michel Douaihi,
Michel Douaihi was the first to leave this change bloc.
Yeah.
And now he's the last to actually accept that there's a reality. Why did he decide to throw away his white paper? Put his name. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a, maybe, I don't know,
self-promotion.
Maybe it's something you would want. Yeah. But put a name. Put a name.
I think going back to the pre-elections, some of these members of parliament campaigned on very rigid promises. They said that we represent the alternative. We are here to be against the families. They set the bar of their discourse so high that the moment they went into parliament, this turned against them, because now they have a much smaller margin to work within.
Yeah.
And I think it's only been 6 months, and all of these MPs should have put a lot of effort at communicating with their voter base to tell them that we did set a very high سقف عالي during the انتخابات. But we are, and the way Mark describes it, we are 13 MPs, we're not 60 MPs. And we're not 65 MPs. We should be part of something bigger.
I want to make your view bigger too.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this until now.
It's fine.
There you go. Now your view is bigger.
Yeah. As if I needed more space in the frame.
But more space for George Wardini. Hey, تفضل. By the way, we need to point out, this is your preferred seating.
This is my preferred seating angle. This is my good side, my better side. But back to something slightly more important.
I don't know about that.
When they ran in the elections, they set very rigid promises, and it's not been long enough for them to start to backtrack on them.
More than long enough. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean,
it's been more than long enough.
But they didn't do any kind of effort.
This is all stupid.
To pave the way.
This is all. I want. Let's
get into it.
Let's get into it. It's a stupid decision. Stupid. Michel Moawad has majority of the opposition votes.
Yes.
Taghyir can either go with Gibran Bassil or go with Samir Jaja. If they're choosing Gibran Bassil over Samir Jaja, they're preferring Tayyar Watani al-Hur wal Hizballah lil Mu'arada.
Yeah.
منهم قادرين. Did you once mention أنا بفوت بالعربي بس بقول كلمة القوات؟
when you start talking about Kuwait, you switch to Arabic. I would take this as a wake up call.
أنا هيك ضيقت شوي.
شوبك الحديث ايه. ليك ببشر برود. If you want to go up there.
ولا هيك قال لي الحكيم.
ايه هو قاعد مع راب.
قال لي طلع لفوق. قلت له لوين؟ أنا I don't care about ولا الحكيم ولا حد. This is all. You can't be equidistant from معارضة و8 آذار. Sorry.
I think by using the word 8 آذار ourselves we're kind of playing into the trap, because when you say 8 آذار it means there is still 14 March.
No, ما في بالعكس في معارضة. 14 آذار is decimated. بعد في 8 آذار.
But the discourse is not.
Discourse is not.
Right?
What do you mean?
I mean the parties of March 14 obviously, and I think you've said this best many times, and the only reason certain people were targeted to be killed and certain people were not is because those who were let's stay alive كانوا يعني the perpetrators knew that these people are people I can buy later or silence or subjugate.
الحمير يلي عايشين مع حزب الله الحمير يلي ميتين مع حزب الله. Okay, so اليوم في نحن الحمير نحن ميتين مع حزب الله. في الحمير كمان عايشين مع حزب الله. أنا بالنسبة لي كان في شيء أحسن من حمير. There used to be something about real politicians last 17 years يلي جربوا وما وصلوا. يلي بقيوا ما كتير بحبهم. بيناتهم ميشيل معوض.
He's here. He's listening. This is your warning.
That shouldn't have happened. But that's weird. Internet's off. Internet is on. That's why. It's what is left of March 14 to me is still better than what is living with Hezbollah. I don't like what is left of March 14. But if that's the group that I can form an alliance with, I'd rather do it with them. But if it is decimated, why do we still call it by its name? Why do we still use this label? Because this label, I would say, causes more friction than you. Even Mu'arada is too big of a word. What is the word?
Well, I think Mu'arada is a word you have to
Nizam?
No, Mu'arada to describe the people who are opposed to the status quo today, okay, which is represent a bunch of different parties with different.
You were gonna say donkeys.
I wasn't. I am now. So Mu'arada is too big of a word, because even I find it really odd that we are so easily forgetful about what the PSP and the LF have done, and suddenly because we need them in a certain place, then they need to be.
This is when I lose everything.
No. خليني كفي.
PSP و LF.
خليني كفي.
I mean, the last time these two parties fired bullets was 1989. Sure.
But is it only militia or mu'arada? But this is also okay. But this is the counter black and white way. كيف some MPs they only see it as سلطة أو تغيير. We also can't see it as militia أو mu'arada. There is a scale in between.
militia mu'arada.
طيب, how would you describe it?
أنت أقولك وليد جنبلاط عنده storage هيك مش storage عنده militia in waiting هيك جاهزين.
I don't know.
No, ما في.
I don't have this information.
تعرف ليه ما في؟ نفس السبب. Breathe in. It's more fun this way. We agreed. It's not going to be a friendly hadith. It's going to be fire.
It's fine. Okay.
Friendly fire.
I'm still in water.
Friendly fire. Okay. We die tonight. It's بالغلط.
Okay.
Friendly fire.
Okay. That's how everybody dies in this country.
Yeah. أنا حبيبي.
روني
السبب ما في لا wait
Okay.
السبب ما في ميليشيا تاني is because لو في ميليشيا تاني
كنا عملنا حرب.
كنا بحرب اليوم.
Okay. But I have a question, by the way.
ما في.
I have a question about this.
Hezbollah survives as being the sole militia.
Yeah. But there's a counter argument to this.
That counter argument.
There's a counter argument to
What
this
is it?
that says إنه had there been توازن قوى أو توازن رعب, it would be a deterrence for war, not a cause of war.
Who says this?
Because mutual destruction is what maintained peace in the world.
Mutual destruction
Yeah.
is what happened in 1975. Kataib and Fatah
Yeah.
killed each other.
Yeah.
You know, Anna, I was actually in downtown yesterday looking at the Holiday Inn
Yeah.
because I tend to look at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah. It's a place that it has a lot of stories about the war.
I was walking with a friend.
Yeah.
Just talking about the Holiday Inn. Habibi, that's not mutual deterrence. That's destruction.
Yeah.
That's Kataib Fatah
Yeah.
and other militia running around a building, shooting at each other. Wasat Beirut is a war zone. ما عندنا شيء هيك.
Okay. But I want to take 2 steps back تنرجع على the original line of of the conversation. كنا عم نحكي why the word معارضة.
وفيك تخبص بين الانجليزي والعربي اليوم. ما عندي مشكلة أنا.
اوكي. كلمة معارضة فضفاضة شوي.
فضفاضة؟
you signed up for this. You walked right into it, Ronnie. The word معارضة is a bit too loose to be used to describe some of the people who are today backing Michel Moawad. And by the way, here we can raise that the one clear line of distinction is who stands with the quorum set at 86 and who doesn't. Because this exposes a lot of possible intentions for some of the parties that are leading a battle today for Michel Moawad, but they are preparing for a different kind of game. So Michel Moawad to them is just perhaps a way to raise the stakes so that when the ultimate اللي نحن بنعرفينه the ultimate president الحقيقي اللي حيجي, then they can cash in.
Yeah, cash in with a guy that best represents the values of both teams, not the guy who's going to represent the values of the other side.
Tell that to them. أنا ما عم بحكي هون عن النواب التغيير. أنا هون عم بحكي عن القوات والاشتراكية.
ما عم بحكي عنه أنا.
إيه. أوكي.
مين بدك؟
لا.
عصام خليفة.
عصام خليفة is.
عصام خليفة حرام.
لا.
مع إنه he's actually a nice guy.
I really hope you don't assume.
He's a nice guy.
I really hope that you don't assume I'm taking on the role of the advocate of عصام خليفة candidacy.
He's a nice guy, but I'm sorry, مع كل احترام كمان.
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
No, even somebody who's also dignified in her own way doesn't have a chance. Tracy Shamon.
Yeah.
These characters that have emerged in the last stretch.
Yeah.
They're all good people in their own way.
Sure.
Saleh Hnen is actually competent كتير. ومستر جيمز تبع سان جوزيف.
سليم.
Amin?
Salim.
Salim Eddi. Thank you. That's not his name, Mr. Gems. He also owns a business and he's a good businessman.
Yeah.
Not to sound condescending. ما حيوصل.
Sure.
Okay, بس لو ميشيل معوض ما حيوصل.
Yeah. We agree. Ronnie, we agree. I'm just trying.
I've been arguing the whole day.
No. We agree.
We agree.
I think the most sensible thing to do right now is either present somebody that is has at least as good of a chance as Michel Moawad and checks the boxes that Michel Moawad checks.
We don't agree.
Or vote for Michel Moawad. If your alternative is not better than the current best, then go with the current best.
Because we could have like we call and there's a studio.
Yeah.
نحط ميشيل دويهي على التي في.
Yeah.
شو رأيك ميشيل دويهي? Why doesn't he get it?
Why doesn't who get it? Why doesn't he understand? I mean, I don't feel comfortable making an assessment on his behalf.
Neither do I.
I just understand.
I'm trying to understand ليه هول 13 ما في إلا 3-4.
I don't think we can treat the 13 as like a single piece anymore. They have made it very clear that they are not a single body. أصلاً صاروا 12.
So ترك أول واحد, right?
Yeah, he was the first to walk out.
It was a dramatic exit. ليه هو آخر واحد to vote اليوم?
Okay, I don't want to. Yeah.
ليه
And not his highlight. Not his highlight.
no
And I'm not here to defend Michel Moawad. Michel.
ولا واحد.
So too many Michels, and they're all from the same district. I'm not here to defend Michel Douaihi, nor am I here to. And I don't think I have what it takes to be able to make an assessment to understand his decision. I just think the sensible thing to do is either propose somebody better. And Michel Moawad talks about this, by the way. It is very hard to propose somebody better because if you look at some of the independent MPs that are supporting Moawad today, they're only in it because it's Moawad. Otherwise, they could swing the other way. So I think it's almost impossible to find anybody today.
نصيف حتى سياد بارود شهادة زور حدا تاني. They're gonna go down this road. نعمت فريم.
Yeah.
They're gonna go down all these names until they accept a name that suits Gibran Bassil.
Yeah.
That is a big mistake.
Yeah.
Huge mistake, especially when Joseph Aoun is going to be the next president.
Okay.
And then they've lost.
What
they've done is made Mu'arada weaker and Taghyir obsolete.
Yeah. Yes. Because I do believe that the brand of Taghyir today might not survive in the next elections.
It should.
It should. And they're not doing the necessary steps.
أنت اسمك جورج, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Last I checked.
أنت جورج Wardini?
Yes.
Alright. أنت منك يساري.
It depends on who you ask. Just kidding.
منك communist.
Oh, hell no.
Alright.
Yeah.
منك communist. Right?
No. Safe to say I'm not.
Yeah. أنا ما عندي مشكلة إذا أنت communist.
Yeah.
As long as we agree on the biggest principles اليوم.
Yeah.
The smaller details.
Yeah.
We will not agree. But the bigger ones have to be an existential battle للبنان.
Yeah.
George Wardini?
Yeah.
Okay, so. George Hewi.
Yeah.
Left.
Yeah.
Left.
Yeah.
Communist.
Sure.
Communist.
And part of March 14.
مش بس part.
Yeah. A leader.
Paid a price.
Yeah.
For representing.
Absolutely.
Not a day, an alliance.
Yeah.
That made change.
Yeah.
Possible. On the streets. In those first months. He was front and center. وهو مش بس هو. Communist. Right-wing nationalist. مش سمير جعجع. كان بعده بالحبس. جبران تويني. جبران تويني. منو leftist. He's a right-wing writer.
Yeah.
They used to actually scold him for being too right-wing.
Yeah.
Okay. George Hewi. Jibran Twaini.
Yeah.
Nothing on the they would not agree on 90% of the things.
Yes.
But the 10% that were existential, they saw eye to eye.
Yeah.
وفريق سمير أسير يساري كمان. عروبة بالنهار.
Yeah.
These three characters could live with each other مع رفيق حريري. Come on. A communist and a capitalist. A neoliberal.
Yeah.
And a leftist, a Marxist. Right-wing, left-wing writers. I'm sorry. Michel Douaihi, Michel Moawad, Ibrahim Naimni, وضاح صادق. ما فينا نقول 14 آذار.
Yeah.
ما فينا نحكي نحن ضد 2 ضد 8 و14 حريمي كعكور.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I want to give an analogy
Eh?
as to how I think some of these people look at things. So we live in a
by the way, sorry to interrupt you. That alliance didn't do much. But
we're talking about the coalition.
Previous.
Yeah.
But you know what it did? Put the highest priorities on the table.
Yeah.
Which meant what? They said no. As long as they could. Until Hezbollah fought on the streets. But Saba Ayyar. They kept saying no until they were defeated by violence. They actually, under threat and persecution, got an investigation into an assassination. I want the same principles للمرفأ. I want the same biggest goals achievable.
Yeah.
The smaller stuff comes next. That's reform. But we have to have a country first.
Okay, so we live in a three-dimensional world. يعني في depth, في length, وفي width. Okay.
ما في height?
That's depth. If you're let's say okay, so for those who don't know, I studied architecture. And in architecture...
Hey, who are you, George Wardini? Define yourself.
We're 30 minutes late into that. In architecture... خليني أخلص هيدا البارت.
Content creator.
Yeah. Architects are like building creators, but no, creator. So, three-dimensional world. Imagine you, this is your eye, this is your viewing point. You could see the diameter, you could see the length, and you could see the width. Some people see the world in two-dimensional.
Yes.
They only see length and width, no depth.
No depth.
And some of them, they even think in one-dimensional ways.
They're shallow and pointed.
Yes, single issue.
Singular.
Yeah. And those people simply need to add a dimension or two.
Hey.
So we agree.
Yeah.
But this is how I would describe the mindset from which they operate.
Mm-hmm.
It's a two-dimensional mindset and a one-dimensional way to see things.
How can you change this, yeah, George? You're a content creator.
I think, well, I would look at a lot of these people بعدهم.
You're a content creator, and that's why I decide to use this to try to persuade.
Yeah.
هلا ليك هقول لك شيء أنا speaking of content. Michel Moawad dodges every interview for the podcast. بيقول لي thumbs up. بيركض. In person, I approach him. He's like, sure. And he never follows through. He doesn't answer. He answers other things, doesn't answer. So
politicians find it really hard to say no. Yeah.
مش دويهي.
Yeah.
عمل نفس الشيء معي.
Yeah.
اللي أكيد حتى مرة, if you're watching Michel, قال لي where's my episode? قلت له next week. He's like خلاص next week ما في.
Yeah.
He disappears until I really push him. Where are you? Busy. Okay, but you know what? He called me today.
Yeah.
I owe him that. He called me. Okay, كتير مبسوط. He called. Okay, so is that what we need to do? Is just call them out? That's how you create depth. Embarrass them. يعني you showed
it
me
depends
BB
to what kind. It depends. BB channel.
BB channel. You showed me that was insulting.
Yeah. But
quite funny.
Yeah.
I was a little less. Heck.
Yeah.
Is that what we should do?
Well, I think since 2019, October 2017, a lot of the legitimacy for these people has been created through social media. It means إنه حتى الانتخابات and the result of the election, the elections was a result of vast mobilization that happened through social media. Then it was picked up by traditional media. It just became the dominant mainstream choice for everybody who wanted to vote against the sulta. A lot of I would imagine that one of the venues that can be explored is to try to wake these people up from within their source of legitimacy. If they are afraid of the mainstream public perception, of their own voters' perception, I think this is when they could start to reassess. Because other than that, what can we do?
So go after the voters?
Yeah. Because the voters, على الحالتين, is who somebody needs to communicate with them. It's either the member of parliament who should tell his voters, I know I'm going to deflect from my promises, but this is the mature thing to do, and you need to understand me. So they need to pave the way for their decision to be accepted, because every politician's main objective is to get re-elected. So these people are I would imagine some of these people are afraid, and if I go ahead with this, I will never see the inside of parliament again, because I campaigned on these promises. And the more you lean towards the left or the right, the more fundamentalist you are, the pickier and the more solid your voters are. So the hardliners are very hard to keep happy. And I would imagine.
So you're talking about investing for 2026 now?
A lot of these people I'm
trying to break the status quo in the next 4 years.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's I think what the mindset that is ruling some of these MPs' decisions to refrain from making unpopular decisions. Because voting for Michel Moawad, if you were carried على ظهر الثورة,
I don't know if
is unpopular.
It's somebody who clearly doesn't have... No, Mark Dow is voting for Michel Moawad.
But Mark Dow بس Mark Dow already كان متحالف مع الكتائب. يعني he did not apply.
وضاح الصادق
was part of جبهة المعارضة.
رامي فنج.
Rami Fanj is not was not a sensational figure بوقت الثورة. Do you know how he got elected? I don't know. No, we never know. But if you look at the people voting for Michel Moawad today,
Najat Saliba has said very strange things on TV, online. She's voting for Michel Moawad.
But all of these people have one thing in common.
Sure.
إنه من الأساس قبل الانتخابات المنتاليتي تبعيتهم ما كانت purist. وضاح Mark and Najat have all been in one way or another allied with كتائب and Michel Moawad. It was a lot easier for them لأنه سقف خطابهم بهذا الموضوع كان أوطى. They never made it a priority to begin with إنه يكونوا purists.
And I don't care about كتائب. I'm talking about the alliance.
Yeah.
ليه ما منهم قادرين to even hear the name Michel Moawad?
Okay.
I appreciate the صغرتة problem.
Yeah.
You know what? When you hear it from others بصغرتة, there's a sympathy.
Yeah.
They hate كتائب, they hate بيت معوض, they hate بيت فرنجية too.
Yeah.
They like different names, and that, you know what?
And that is
Good
Michel.
them.
And
exactly.
that is Michel Douay, his source of legitimacy.
Michel Douay
he feels and he owes it to them.
Is that right?
Yes.
وشمالنا. Okay, they're carving out their own space, right?
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
But now, we have a presidential election now, much in 4 years.
You're onto something.
I am?
Yeah, you're always onto something. بس أول شيء يعني let me just خلص فكرة قبل ما نفتح فكرة تانية.
Sorry, my fault.
No, it's fine.
It's midnight.
The only reason some MPs are open إنه يصوتوا لميشيل معوض is because if you look at them, there's a clear pattern. كلهم من قبل الانتخابات ما خاضوا على شعار كلهم يعني كلهم. Mark Dow was part of جبهة المعارضة. مارك داو رفض in essence مارك داو كان يجتمع مع الكتائب وميشيل معوض in a weekly alliance that was public information. The first time I heard Mark Dow speak, he was confronted by Aline Fleihan in a clubhouse chat moderated by our friend Ramzi Ismail, and he told him and Ramzi told Mark, you are being accused of being an ally of Kataib. How do you respond? And Mark literally said, ويقولوا شو ما يقولوا, words from a famous song, a Lebanese song. So Mark, since day one, had a three-dimensional way to look at things, and in his logic, he was able to justify to himself and to his voters, and he carved out this discourse, to borrow your words, إنه لا, we differentiate. This is a grayscale rather than black and white issue. Which is why it was a lot easier for him to be among the first, even though he held out, to be among the first to vote for Michel Moawad. Because he already campaigned, يعني he already هو مرتاح أصلاً with his voter base, إنه أنا I have this sense of flexibility, I have this margin. Whereas it's near impossible for someone like Halime, who held on to كلهم يعني كلهم the whole time, to be like, now, okay, I'm gonna ally with Uwait and Kataib and vote for Michel Moawad.
So the same burden goes on her. She can hate everyone she wants on the streets of Beirut.
Yeah.
She can scream and shout at Mabit.
I agree.
Hold on.
Yeah.
She's now faced with a choice. And she's choosing the wrong side.
Yeah.
That to me is not كلهم يعني كلهم. That's كلهم إلا 8 أزار.
No, I don't think she's choosing the wrong. I don't think she's operating on the premise. I think she's choosing the wrong side, but I don't think she's operating on the premise.
Who are the two that are voting for Moawad Baroud?
I don't know.
Haida, he's going to be their candidate.
Perhaps.
But
the numbers don't add up.
Okay, hold on. So it's كلهم يعني كلهم, right?
Yeah. But we can talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Michel Moawad is excluded. Baroud is included.
Yeah.
طب ليه؟
مع إنه they are both charged on the same تهمة.
I like Moawad Baroud.
That's a very valid question.
I like him. Actually, I think he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be in Baabda.
I don't have enough opinion to assess this, but I've heard you say this a few times.
He would.
But you've also said you've gone further. You said إنه Moawad Baroud is the preferred choice for Gibran Bassil.
Absolutely.
How?
Gibran Bassil is unable to digest Frangie as the gateway to his presidency. I think Gibran Basir cannot accept Sleiman Frangieh.
Okay.
For reasons that have to do with Gibran Basir.
Yeah.
And for reasons to do with Gibran's alliance with Hezbollah. I think the guy is trying to get a reward for not being their preferred candidate this time. They're not working with him yet. They may work with him 6 years from now. Right now, they've signaled enough times. Gibran, مش دورك. Okay. Frangieh is their Michel Moawad. Meaning, ما حيوصل. Unless things are being reconfigured to a degree that التغيير are on board.
Frangieh?
Yeah, I don't think they are.
إذا في حدا that would cave, I don't think it's the تغيير.
Yeah, I don't think they're going down that road.
No.
Exactly.
I would suspect other people اليوم عم بيصوتوا لميشيل معوض إنه they could enter بمنطق تسوى, at least they يأمنوا نصاب, they could provide the quorum.
There could be some ex-Hariri MPs that may make that decision too.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it seems like Gibran Basir is not comfortable.
Okay.
And he could be the spoiler.
Okay.
And it's hard to imagine both القوات والتيار, neither one endorsing the next president.
It was also hard to imagine this in 2014. It was impossible to imagine that Uwait would endorse Michel Aoun. It was like when NASA told everybody in the 50s that we're going to the moon and nobody believed it. But we went to the moon and Uwait endorsed Michel Aoun.
That's 6 years after 2008 with Michel Sleiman.
Yeah.
And that is 2 years after the void.
Yeah.
And that is roughly, a year after Hariri endorsed Frangieh.
Yeah.
And Uwait made the biggest mistake that they've made.
But what is to say that all of these circumstances cannot play out again?
You are right. Uwait could theoretically be the ones to endorse Frangieh.
Or maybe not endorse, maybe just provide quorum. Okay.
That's a potential.
I
think Uwait are going to lean first على Joseph Aoun.
Yeah, they've made that clear.
They've made that clear, and to the point that I think it's kind of taken now as that's the real.
And Michel Moawad stagnating plays right into that.
Yeah, so I think they're going down that road. You're right, in that you could see Frangieh theoretically, but I'm leaning more like it's going to be Gibran Basir's pick or Joseph Aoun.
Yeah.
Unless كل المعارضة والتغيير وحريري X endorse Michel Moawad. Then you have a possible alternative.
Yeah.
ما بيوصل.
Yeah.
But it shows إنه في majority alliance.
Okay, I was gonna ask about this question. Do you think if Michel Moawad, if we woke up tomorrow and Michel Moawad did get 65 votes, but not the quorum, do you think the dynamics would change drastically? يعني can he then traverse the path من 65 votes to 83 attendance?
Michel Moawad is not going to be the next president.
Okay, so what do you think, what's his gameplay right now?
It's not about him. What I really want is March 14, the old pandering, what's left of them today, to the ones that are claiming to be opposition, to work with Taghyir. I want October 17 and opposition to form an alliance that's majority. That includes the ex-Hariri crowd. The reason I want them all to get along enough is because then you can be a block in a way, a big bump to the status quo. That's all I want.
So, if the tables were
I want
reversed,
Joseph Aoun to realize that the opposition to him, or the real alternative to him, is not Gibran Basir. It's something that's in a way better. And that's the kind of Lebanon
so we're playing King of the Hill.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope I'm not the hill.
You just explain what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You're not the king wala the hill.
Okay. I'm half flattered, half offended. Okay, so I have a question. Let's say the tables are turned وفي مرشح من 8 أدار أو ممانع. Let's let go of the 8-14 language because that if you want what you're describing to happen, the first thing we need to do is to just let go of toxic terminology.
Habibi, they didn't call themselves the coalition was called 14 Azar. It wasn't
but it ended. Now we're
That's what I want to see again. I want تغيير معارضة.
Yeah.
I want there to be a new alliance.
I would love to see that. At least بس بموضوع الرئاسة.
Well, personally,
Yeah.
I'd like to see it more than that. I want an investigation that's international.
Sure.
I want the state to request it.
Sure. But it cannot reach legislative level. They're too different on a legislative level. But now is not the time to legislate أصلا.
It reached legislative level in 2005. That's how we had an international investigation.
Okay. طيب I want to go back to the alternative scenario. كنا عم نحكي إنه بيصير في بلوك وهذا البلوك can be a big bump in the way of anybody who we don't like. Okay. If this somebody we don't like قدر هو يجيب 65 votes and now صارت معركته معركة كورة. Do you think all of the rest should shut down parliament? لازم يعطلوا to ensure إنه يعني is a continued vacuum better, more manageable for the opposition than مرشح 8 أدار?
I was asked this question today by a journalist.
Okay.
It's a good question. The answer I gave is we are either going to get Joseph on soon through a spike in violence.
Okay.
Or we're going to get him later through further paralysis. How you manage the message between now and then is the road that's going to be forged ahead. And if MPs that don't get along right now can get along later, and it starts this way, all the better.
I have another question.
In other words, Ziad Baroud should not be the next president. No, I keep saying it the wrong way. He should not be the next alternative president. Because that means تغيير ومعارضة are simply never going to forge ahead together. It's going to be...
Can you explain to someone like me who is totally oblivious? Anjad, let's try to use the simplest description possible. Because I've heard you say before, by the way, in one of your earlier podcasts, من بعد يعني بس بفترة الانتخابات الرئاسية, you did say إنه you're happy with both Michel Moawad and Ziad Baroud, right? I think I've picked up on this. Okay, so can you explain best how Ziad Baroud and Michel Moawad are different?
Yeah, that's what I've said.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think I've said that I actually like Ziad Baroud more, but I don't think he's more fit for Baabda.
But in application, okay, why
What's
is
the difference?
why is Michel Moawad منيح لمشروع the sovereignist movement, and why is Ziad Baroud bad for the sovereignist movement? That's the question. And is there something that Ziad Baroud can do تنصير نحن نقول we are on board with him أو تنصير أنت تقول we are on board with him?
That's a very good question. Ziad Baroud is to me the best reflection of how civil society dies in government.
Okay.
Ziad Baroud, as a Minister of Interior, was able to do very small things.
Yeah.
Including seatbelt checkpoints.
Yeah.
Traffic concerns. He was actually probably
which he was applauded for doing very small things.
On that stuff, maybe the most competent.
Yeah.
Minister of Interior.
Yeah, because the standard is so low. Yeah.
No, and he's also, even in a higher standard, he's actually...
He could stand out. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like him as a civil society pressure cooker outside. And inside, that to me is simply not enough. Ziad Baroud resigned the moment things got delicate. So
to you, Ziad Baroud is not confrontational enough to push the envelope or to push the relationship, the negotiation with Hezbollah to the end.
There's no negotiation with Hezbollah. There's either working for Hezbollah or trying to remain an obstacle for Hezbollah.
Okay.
Michel Moawad, I don't think is going to be an obstacle to Hezbollah. What I'm worried about is that someone like Ziad Baroud is going to be a conduit. He will be so out of that stuff.
That he would be too passive. That's what you're trying to say?
He will do his best to avoid that topic.
Okay.
And he will actually do little to even think how to work around it.
Okay.
I think he will leave it to the side.
Okay.
That to me shows a president who's endorsed by civil society, by maybe many in the international arena, that Lebanon's problems have nothing to do with geopolitics.
So now I have two questions.
Michel Moawad is the opposite story. Meaning, Wala Wahad is going to be able to get into Baabda, Wala Wahad can confront Hezbollah. But Michel Moawad has made it clear from the beginning that his presidency, even if he wants to talk to Hezbollah, the presidency is about defining the problem and about trying to find a way out. His success he may fail. But I don't want what I've seen already, which is Boutros Harib is about to get killed in an elevator. Communications is not provided by Shab al-Nahas. Ziad Baroud finds himself in a bad situation and he resigns. That to me, I don't want that in Baabda.
I have two questions. You have already made it clear that Michel Moawad is not going to become president. Okay.
Personally, I don't think so.
So by design, right? This this entire campaign is what is it serving, and what's the purpose of pushing for Michel Moawad if it is a given and he's not gonna make it? Again, تاني سؤال, what is the purpose of pushing for any president if you don't believe? Oh, actually no, because that has an easy answer. سؤال, if it is not the job of the Lebanese president to negotiate with Hezbollah.
No.
Who breaks the cycle?
It's not that it's not the job. Tracy Shamoun she has said it that she will talk to Hezbollah. That's not.
Everybody said, because other alternative نشو بتقوس عليه, and it's civil war.
You can't defeat Hezbollah.
Okay.
Within Lebanon, there's no defeat against Hezbollah.
So is this a lost battle?
No.
Okay.
It's
Clarify.
A president with a parliament that endorsed him, an alternative president with a majority that actually wants him is the dream. I'd rather not have Joseph Aoun. I'd rather have change an opposition majority candidate.
Okay.
In Baabda. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Joseph Aoun will be the next president. I think that's the end of the story. But in terms of forging alliance, I want the message to be clear.
Yeah.
Among reformers.
Yeah.
And ex-opposition, that Lebanon cannot withstand this mess on its own, and if it is pretending to, it's because the problem has created that circumstance. Ziad Baroud is the best image of that.
Okay.
He's a shining star in civil society. He's well respected too.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, then the problems really have to do with just because Lebanese are bad. They're dysfunctional people. That's not the story.
So you're saying that Ziad Baroud, because لأنه he's such a respected civil society person, إذا هو بيجي رئيس, it is a legitimacy to Hezbollah, because we're saying إنه Hezbollah and the civil society president can coexist in the same system. إذا ما في مشكل بالcoexistence, يعني Hezbollah is not the problem.
Civil society, rather than inheriting
the
burden, it's working with the burden.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to March 14.
طيب. So you're saying Hezbollah is not a Lebanese problem. It cannot be solved internally. There's no negotiating with Hezbollah. You have to negotiate with the patron regime that enables Hezbollah. And this should be done on our behalf by regional and international actors who are pushed and motivated by a unified opposition that is backed by the public and state legitimacy.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what is the leverage? Why do you think that these negotiators will be on our side if Hezbollah is the one that can offer them line 23 rather than 29, can offer the port contract, the renewal of the port contract? If Hezbollah is the one that can put things on the table and negotiate with leverage, what is our leverage? Just is it justice alone? Is it doing the right thing alone? Do you think these nations operate on good intentions ولا مصالحهم الشخصية. يعني what if Hezbollah can provide the West more interests than we can provide, because we can't provide anything. We are betting that the West or the players involved, they want to see Hezbollah out and they want to see Iran relinquish control. But what if they don't?
Then we may as well tax Iran for renting this country, and all of us get compensation for what Iran has done and become Iranian citizens and help overthrow the regime in Tehran. I don't think that's going to happen.
So we should join the protests there. Maybe that would get us somewhere.
Going all the way to the scenario you described.
Yeah.
Is we all accept our place under Iran's dominion, and Hezbollah is now an official representation of Iran.
There's an alternative to that, and it's a speech we've been hearing increasingly more. The partitionist divorce talaq. Let's have two Lebanons. One where, and I'm not advertising. I'm just putting out what the options are. Let's have one Lebanon where everybody who wants a liberal democratic state comes and lives. And some people call it a free zone, منطقة حرة. And another Lebanon where everybody who wants the different thing, the different version, stays there. وخذوا الحدود مع فلسطين وسوريا and fight your battles until the end of time. But let us live in peace. And this is not the kind of partition of Muslims and Christians don't want to live together, so we're dividing it. This is a kind of partition where it's a divorce. The word that is used is divorce, and it's being used in the context of a divorce with Hezbollah in state institutions. So it means rendering all state institutions illegitimate by backing down from them.
There's been partition before.
Yeah.
For almost 15 years,
yeah,
there were two states. One was mostly governed by the Lebanese forces, and the other one was mostly governed by the Syrians, the Palestinians, and the other groups that came to...
But that was not consensual. It was in a state of war.
That's what divorce would look like. There's no peaceful divorce in Lebanon. There's partition. We had that. And for the Lebanese forces, at certain stages... But I think many of their inhabitants were okay with it, not with Syrian occupation after. I don't want either.
But there's the hot divorce that you're describing, and there's the cold divorce, which is done through delegitimizing. Autocorrect on. Delegitimizing. You know what we're thinking, Mike, about the word
exasperate or exacerbate. Yes.
I'm not good with 3 syllables or anything more than 3 syllables. There's the hot divorce, which إنه بيصير in a scenario of violence, and there's the cold divorce اللي بيصير slowly through delegitimizing the state institutions in which Hezbollah is a member of. هون بتروح على version من العصيان المدني, and people stop paying taxes, stop responding to the authorities. We choose to render this authority and these institutions simply illegitimate.
Sami Jmeir,
yeah,
when he mentions divorce, he's speaking a delusion that's not going to happen the way he describes it. When Samir Jaja says he has the answers to independence and sovereignty, he is lying.
Yeah.
When Haidar نسيت اسمه هلا تبع الجبل كان عم بي كل جملة منه سيادة سيادة سيادة.
Yeah.
What's his name?
First Said.
Say it again.
First Said is in Kisrwan.
This guy has nothing to offer. بس بيصرخ ضد حزب الله. These are one of the few points I actually agree with Jad Khussam, which is the other team offers no policy. He's right. It doesn't mean the problem disappears when you don't talk about it, but he's right. There has to be a policy. أنا لقلي الpolicy مش هون لأن Iran is a different country.
Yeah.
Iran is not a province in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Iran is a country with massive resources that can withstand a revolt right now.
Yeah.
It's managing. That, I think, requires regional diplomacy. But I want, like you said, it's exactly what you said. a representative government, majority in alliance, that makes this their cause and advocates for it.
Yeah.
It starts with doing risky things. Okay, so the special tribunal cost a lot of blood. Not for the tribunal's investigation, for what happened after. But that doesn't mean the problem is gone. It just means the problem fights back. You still have to address the problem. In that huge discussion there, أنا بشوف ميشيل معوض as the best representative of what's left of that. مش معناتها he can do much about it. بس أنا بشوفه أكتر من زياد بارود أو نعمة فريم أو everyone else. يلي is running right now.
So you believe Michel Moawad can spearhead this representative body, and as a president he has a lot of symbolic value as well.
It's his job and our job to coalesce around a new majority alliance. And to not expect him to change the world, let alone Lebanon. But that's how it starts. Short of that, أنا بشوف paralysis.
Okay, what we already have. Maybe paralysis is even better than what we have, because now we're like a body stabbing itself. If you are paralyzed, at least you could stop stabbing yourself.
I know paralysis, بتريل collapse شوي.
Yeah. But okay, back to the scenario where
I don't know if I'm explaining it right.
No. This to me is a very clear picture.
But the governable country that governs ضد المشكلة مش مع المشكلة.
Okay. But this is conflict. This is a state of conflict. Because you're living with
you
the
asked
enemy.
me ليه مش حزب الله. You asked me 23 خط 23. أنا بقول 23 should not be حزب Allah's priority, and التغيير should not have been so hell-bent on 29 صراحة. But the other things you described, that's not the Lebanon I want. I don't want to be towing the line to whatever Hezbollah wants.
So if we had to choose between either succeeding in kicking out Iranian influence, or as you said, agree, this is our reality, at least let's make the best of it. What alternative can you invent to offer to people يلي they would reject both? Which لأنه هيدا the answer of divorce, it speaks to those people.
I think I've heard it mostly من سامي جميل.
Yeah.
Others,
but what he's saying, a lot of people are thinking.
I think اثنيناتنا have thoughts that we never do much with.
Yeah.
And those are thoughts we shouldn't do much with.
Yeah.
بركي أنت أكتر مني.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
بس ما معناتها divorce can happen the way he says it, and if he's threatening divorce, he's threatening war. That is for me a horrible end, meaning رجعنا.
No, I agree that war would kill the patient on the surgery bed. You wanna save the patient, you end up killing him. I don't wanna
I don't think he meant it. By the way,
I don't
it shows you that it shows you he doesn't mean it. You know why?
Yeah, because they're always talking against it.
No. I don't care what their defense is, their excuse.
Yeah.
Why are they lying about meeting Hezbollah?
Oh, I don't want to go into that.
Why are they lying? It took them time to address it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say it's for the reasons they said. I'm going to give them the benefit. Why hide it?
Yeah.
Why deny it? If you went there for the reasons you said, say that. That to me means it's bullshit. This hadith divorce, it's not happening. It's not just them, Samir Jaja too. Samir Jaja can also be a guy who works with the problem.
Yeah. He already did.
He paid a price for it.
How?
He went to jail for 11 years.
Oh, I'm talking more recently. I'm talking about
then he went back and had to, on his words, he felt that was the only choice available. He's bending to the problem. أنا بدي أشيل البروبلم وخلاص. For me, that means
I wish there was a magic button that we could press and تنشيل the problem. بس حتى أنت قبل شوي you mentioned something. This is where it starts.
Yeah.
And maybe we're not ready to have a conversation on where it ends, because we haven't discovered the path. So let's end it here. Let's say this is where it starts.
Yeah.
And we're not sure how it could end. But
if we're fighting for a country to survive, then yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't mean to make it seem that Halima Kakour is crazy in her rigidity. No.
Yeah.
It's that if she puts this issue above, then I can say, you know what, your disagreements are real, but at least we see eye to eye on that huge problem. If we don't,
I think
paralysis.
I think the biggest threat to any liberal, socially just program in Lebanon today, I would say, is a religious armed militia. I don't see how she doesn't understand that the same ideals that are keeping you from allying with dirtier, less ideal forces, are going to be completely non-existent in a world where the alternative wins, which is Hezbollah. So, if anybody thinks you have a chance of establishing a civil state with an armed religious militia, you are disillusioned.
Thankfully, she's never said it that way.
Yeah.
But she's implying it.
But she needs to be asked, is she implying? Tell me how. Is she implying that she can coexist with Hezbollah?
Every time she says March 8 and March 14 are the same, she's saying that.
Yeah.
Whether it's not in those specific tweets, it's that she can't accept the opposition's preferred candidate.
Yeah.
But she can potentially make the consensus candidate opposition March 8th's preferred guy, which could well happen. Which means she puts them at the same pedestal. هي بتشوف سمير جعجع وحسن نصر الله على نفس المستوى.
Because that is 2-dimension rather than 3-dimension. There's a missing dimension that's not allowing her to see the décalage, the difference in the depth.
And how do you see it?
I think ideally in a Lebanon where I want to live in, neither Nasrallah nor Samir Jaja are the ruling influences in politics, but we can fight politicians with politics.
Yeah.
But we cannot fight militiamen with politics.
Yeah. So why don't we at least honor that this guy that we talk about all the time is no longer a warlord?
I agree.
Yeah. بس لا مش وي أنا وياك أنا وي the more flexible بين معارضة والتغيير. Why can't no? I think because some people realize he's in there.
I think because some people think that simply acknowledging that he is no longer a warlord كأنه عم نقول we're okay with him. لا, he is no longer a warlord, and in the long term I'm not okay with him, but he's either an asset or an enemy, and I don't need more enemies at this point.
هو عزات المستوى من جبران باسيل بالنسبة لحدا مثل حليمة كعكور.
I could see it.
ليه؟
هلا the strategic value of Gibran Basil to Hezbollah is different. إذا عم نحكي about the strategic value. إيه. بس إنه in the way they conduct politics, in the operating mentality, regardless of allegiances, إنه هول الناس بيؤمنوا تصارع قوى طائفية, a conflict of sectarian power. So they amass a capital and they go to war with it.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about the mentality. No, but Ronia.
Mentality.
The mentality.
Samir Jaja.
I'm more comfortable talking about Halima's mentality.
No. Let's. Yes.
It's true. Cut.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Keep.
Okay.
It's true. You're right.
Okay.
حليمة وسمير جعجع. طيب كيف بدنا نحطهم بنفس الحفلة؟ أنا حفلة.
ما أنا ما بقول إنه فينا نحطهم. again يعني.
ولا فريق ولا يلا.
Okay.
سمير جعجع. وجبران باسيل نفس الشيء؟ لا أكيد لا.
Okay.
جعجع مزبوط صوت لميشيل عون مزبوط. We wouldn't have had Michel Aoun لو ما صوت له. That's true. But سمير جعجع وجبران باسيل, Samir Jaja, the weeks after he gets out of jail after spending 11 years in لحاله, ما في حدا فات معه لحاله, ما في ولا بري ما فات, جنبلاط ما فات, ولا حدا تاني فات معه. No, it shouldn't be overlooked. That's 11 years. Weeks later, زياد عبس والتيار وطني الحر وميشيل عون are not just divorcing March 14, they're joining March 8.
Why? Why? Because أول شيء let me acknowledge إنه أنا in that period there's an 11-year difference between the both of us, and you've had your political awakening way before I did. So I'm not asking, I cannot argue in a period where I was not born and I was not aware. But the way the counter argument I understand is the reason why Michel Aoun went and joined with Hezbollah is because every other force in March 14 tried to isolate him. So they pushed him, and a lot of people think that this is an error in strategy. Rather than absorbing Michel Aoun, they pushed him to work with the opponent. So I really don't want, I don't know if this conversation is relevant today.
No, it is. Be independent. I would have been with the FPM.
Oh, no, I don't think that either of them are guided by very strong principles.
No, but they were independent for 3 months.
Yeah.
That's their claim.
Yeah.
Okay.
They should have stayed independent. Yeah. Of course.
Then, you know what? I wouldn't even know who Gibran Bassil is because everything that happened after is a March 8 job. Gibran Bassil بده يكون بعبدا بكرة لأن of everything that happened since. Samir Jaja, I know we it's kind of silly how we laugh about it. Samir Jaja almost got killed. I mean, we joke because of the Wardini and the way he Matrix and all that stuff. Samir Jaja, all of his allies in that alliance were killed. At the last stage, the guy voted for Michel Aoun, and you know what? The last stage, Saad Hariri worked with Michel Aoun, with Gibran Bassil. Okay, they all ended up in the same place.
I don't think Jaja's worst sin is voting for Michel Aoun. I think it was the hidden terms of the agreement in which هو حط شرط to vote for Michel Aoun. And here, أنا بقول 10 confidential terms that were later made public that were leaked after 3 years.
And Gibran Bassil والتيار الوطني الحر were obstacles to the special tribunal for Lebanon.
Okay.
That's an international investigation.
Okay. Because this is positional warfare. Had it been the other way around, had it been جعجع لو كان حليفه لنصر الله, it would have been in him to oppose the tribunal.
And that's where I judge.
Okay. So that's the difference in where we're judging. You're judging on what happened. I'm judging based on they're all capable of the same thing. I'm
judging on the maturity of an alliance, no matter how short-lived it was, and the rare accomplishments it could pull off. Under threat of violence, it kept doing it. That to me is not March 8.
But you think
that is a state.
Do you think this
that
alliance
was deliberately targeted and fell?
But do you think this alliance, everybody in this alliance was positioned in opposition to Syria and to Hezbollah later because of their principles or because of pre-existing positions that evolved into this conflict? I
think there was a window where alliance actually was something principled. It didn't last long. But yes, I want that window to grow, and I want it to open the window further. What I see right now is a crack in the window, which could be that alliance, but nobody wanting to open the window.
Okay, so but the reason why I'm telling you that both Gibran Bassil and Samir Jaja, regardless of their allegiances, they are capable, they are willing, and they are capable of doing whatever it takes to stay in power. And what I'm saying is, Roni, don't invalidate my opinion. لحظة.
We're doing whatever it takes to stay in power.
لحظة. I'm gonna go back to اتفاق مع راب.
ليه ما كلنا ماشي مع حزب الله؟
Okay, I'm gonna go back to اتفاق مع راب. I don't think the greatest sin in اتفاق مع راب was voting for Michel Aoun. The greater sin is what paved the way to vote to Michel Aoun اللي هن the 10 hidden terms in the agreement, one of which says إنه القوات والتيار they would divide 50% all of the first and second class positions إدارية بالدولة. طب if you have been sitting for the past 10 years calling if I've been sitting here for 10 years calling you a thief, and then 10 years later I go into business with you, a hidden agreement that tells that where we agree that you and I divide everything 50-50, does this not mean we're both capable of the same things?
No.
What?
Samir
Explain
Jaja was March 14's candidate.
Yeah.
For 52 sessions?
Yeah.
Okay. Did Samir Jaja use force with the threat of Hezbollah obstacles to get into Baabda?
No.
Who got into Baabda?
Michel Aoun.
All right.
Okay.
Every bad decision taken with Michel Aoun is a responsibility he holds. But is he in Baabda? No.
Again, we're arguing on different. We're judging on different standards.
No, we're judging about the hypotheticals.
Yes.
Which is, I don't see that. What I see is somebody who has not resorted to arms or used weapons or violence or violent allies to get places. Shibra Basir did this. Samir Jaja didn't. Samir Jaja, yes, said, I'm going to vote for Michel Aoun, and the terms are disgusting. Hariri did something similar too.
Of course, I don't think واحدة منهم أرحم من الثاني.
That's after so many years of insisting that it's either Aoun or nothing. That Hezbollah-led position.
What if we end up in the same situation today? What if this void drags down مثل ما أنت قلت, and we're gonna get Aoun either sooner or later? What if this situation drags on today? Do you think the قوات they will stay committed to Michel Moawad? Well, 52 sessions from now, they will be like, okay, let's go.
We're in a unique time. We're in a unique time where the biggest problem facing the state's survivability is also weak because the state collapsed. And we're in a unique time where Hezbollah cannot simply say Basir bifut bi Baabda. They're showing relative flexibility, meaning that they're not in a comfortable position the way they used to be. Doesn't mean they're going to vote for Samir Jaja. Wala Michel Moawad.
They're willing to compromise on having a middle ground.
Not even that. It's more like we can't, if we do this, and they theoretically could, if they really wanted to, use violence, make it unbearable until Basir biyatla. But then their position is a little weaker too. I think they're trying to reposition themselves in a stronger way. If we, assuming we are against that, if we're projecting a different narrative and a different force against that, then we should be very clear that Hezbollah should not be stronger in 6 years. Hezbollah should be weaker. And if we're part of that, not the party, not the politics, the security.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. If we can make that move in a better direction.
بس نحن عم نعتبر we are considering that Hezbollah's strength is completely 100% reliant on Iran. Right?
The strength that gets all of these bad people to live longer than they should and to work with them is completely because of Iran.
Okay. So how do you know that Hezbollah will be weaker in Lebanon in 6 years? And how do you know that does this necessarily mean that it is because Iran will be weaker in 6 years?
If we are part of the process at reimagining Lebanon without an armed Hezbollah, and we stand against working with that security problem, which hurts Lebanon, then maybe a damaged Iran is more eager to negotiate over its security in the region. And maybe we're not fighting Hezbollah. We want Hezbollah to end its weapon, to end its infrastructure, to reform.
So you cannot imagine a new Lebanon without imagining a new Middle East.
I can't imagine a better Lebanon without all of these things lining up. And they did 17 years ago. maybe they could today, but there's something here that has to be done. The majority voice has to believe in it. Hasn't happened.
So to end this, we have to create the right circumstances in order to receive whatever good changes come when this realignment happens.
Yeah, not the bad changes,
Yeah.
which is divorce.
Yeah.
And not in a nice way.
Okay.
And that's not, it'll just be partition.
Yeah.
Without a new state being born, it'll be a canton. That's civil war. I don't want that.
I don't want that either. People like us have no place in war. Okay, that's awesome.
Thanks for listening and watching, and a friendly reminder to support this podcast by contributing through Patreon or PayPal. All links are in the details box. Until next time, I'm Rani Shatah, and this is the Beirut Banyan.